AEW content begins appearing on Max internationally, a possible sign that a media rights deal between AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery is possibly close to being announced. Speaking of which, the backstage reaction to this week's AEW Dynamite 250 ratings also is another possible hint that a deal between AEW and WBD is close. The Motor City Machine Guns, yes, former TNA Tag Team Champions, reportedly are expected to sign with WWE. Seth Rollins is expected to be the special guest referee between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Joe Hendry, he'll be competing for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship this weekend at Slammiversary, and reportedly there is a lot of push for him to win the title. AEW star Paul White shows remarkable progress after having both knees and both hips replaced. AEW Collision also will not be going head-to-head with SummerSlam this year. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off with a major possible hint when it comes to, at the very least, the streaming future of All Elite Wrestling. Now, with AEW still in negotiations with Warner Bros. Discovery regarding their new television deal and media rights deal, a new major development has seemingly spelled out their future on a top streaming platform. Today, Friday, July 19, it was pointed out by some on social media that AEW programming had begun appearing on WBD's HBO Max streaming service in international markets. Now, as can be seen on the right-hand side of the screen right there with the screenshots, AEW Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and AEW Forbidden Door 2024 were now available on the service. Now, Fightful Sean Ross Sapp would then follow up with a post of his own in which he acknowledged that AEW's content has in fact been made available on Max internationally. Now, an official announcement has not yet been made by Tony Khan or WBD, and as of now, there have been no reports of Max subscribers in the United States or Canada having access to this content also. If we get any more details on that, we'll let you know. But also, the backstage reaction to the ratings for this week's edition of AEW Dynamite, the 250th episode spectacular, reportedly have kind of maybe given a hint as to how close this deal is to getting done. Now, the July 17 episode of AEW Dynamite featured a stacked lineup of matches, including the first ever encounter between MJF and Will Ospreay for the AEW International Championship, as well as a main event between Swerve Strickland and Kazuchika Okada. The stacked lineup for the show saw AEW Dynamite score its best TV viewership since April, with 795,000 viewers on average and a 0.27 rating in the 18 to 49 demo. Following this, Dave Meltzer has revealed via the Wrestling Observer newsletter what the backstage reaction within AEW was to Dynamite's numbers. Meltzer writes, quote, "I think things are close as one person with inside knowledge of the talks used the term, quote, awesome timing, end quote, to describe the Dynamite rating on July 17, so things are thought to be close." Now, while Meltzer didn't specify what was thought to be close, the assumption would be that he's referring to AEW's ongoing media rights negotiations with Warner Bros. Discovery, with higher viewership numbers for Dynamite likely to help the company's case for a strong new media rights deal. So, of course, next week's AEW Dynamite is another highly anticipated episode with Team AEW taking on the Elite in Blood and Guts. So what are your thoughts when it comes to the Max streaming service now having AEW content on it, at least internationally? And what are your thoughts when it comes to the backstage reaction to the numbers for Dynamite this week? Is this an indication of what's to come in the future? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Now, former TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Motor City Machine Guns, are reportedly expected to be in WWE soon. With their TNA wrestling contracts expiring earlier this year, the future of the Motor City Machine Guns has received a new update. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley have been the subject of much discussion, with both AEW and WWE having interest in their services. In April, it was reported by Bodyslam.net that Sabin and Shelley were likely to sign with AEW, with it being stated that all parties were, quote, working on finalizing a deal, end quote. In July 2024, however, it was reported in the Wrestling Observer that an AEW deal hadn't been signed and the idea it was being finalized was premature. Furthermore, it was stated that the Motor City Machine Guns were in talks with higher-ups in WWE after becoming free agents. Dave Meltzer has now provided an update on the future of the Motor City Machine Guns in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, writing, quote, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley are expected to be coming to WWE, or at least that's the talk within wrestling. It's been known for months that they had been talking with AEW and WWE ever since their TNA contracts expired. Of late, the indications were that WWE made the better offer, but they were expected to be with whichever side made the best offer. Within wrestling, the belief is that they are WWE bound, and Tommaso Ciampa made a reference to them on social media. They've also been completely silent about it and clearly have made their decision one way or the other. Now, Ciampa's reference on social media was an Instagram story where he posted the photo of the pair as TNA World Tag Team Champions. So, seemingly, it looks like they're going to be on their way to WWE. Now, speaking of WWE, SummerSlam is on the horizon, the biggest event of the summer, and one of the biggest matches at the biggest event of the summer may have just got bigger. Seth Rollins' plans for the planned WWE SummerSlam match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre may have been revealed. Despite not being formally announced, perhaps the most anticipated match of all to potentially take place at this year's event is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, with their months-long feud potentially finally set to see a payoff inside of a squared circle. Now, whether that happens or not hinges on CM Punk's injury status, with reports this week stating that he was still awaiting clearance to compete following his triceps tear in January. A new report from WrestleVotes has seemingly given us our answer as to when Punk is planned to officially be cleared, as well as how CM Punk's arch-rival Seth Rollins will factor into plans for the match between McIntyre and Punk. Posting on Twitter, WrestleVotes wrote, quote, "Source states that current plans have Seth Rollins as the special guest referee for the CM Punk vs. Drew McIntyre SummerSlam match. Creative is proceeding under the assumption that Punk will be ready for action, with the anticipated clearance date set for the Monday beforehand, that being July 29. Dave Meltzer would also report on the situation in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, stating that he had also heard that WWE were planning to have a special referee stipulation for a top SummerSlam match, but only assumed that it was for Punk versus McIntyre, not confirming as such. Meltzer wrote, quote, "As of right now, there is a guest referee spot scheduled for one of the top bouts. I don't know which one it is, but was told it's not Ripley versus Morgan. Most figure that match is going to end when Dominic comes out, and then he'll help someone win, whether overtly or through a screw-up, and the storyline will go from there. I can speculate Rollins as a referee for Punk versus McIntyre, but that's only a guess." Now, this weekend, we have Slammiversary, TNA's biggest show of the year, arguably, that and Bound for Glory, of course. And Joe Hendry will be heading into TNA Slammiversary with an extra bounce in his step, with Hendry currently one of the hottest pro wrestlers on the planet. Hendry is set to compete for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship during Slammiversary's main event, and whilst the bout will be the biggest test of Hendry's career, he believes a win will be best for business. He spoke to Denise Salcedo and said, quote, "Sorry to everyone else, but I think me winning the TNA World Championship is absolutely what is best for business. It's what the fans want, and I think we're in an era where the fans are getting what they want. So I'm going to go to Montreal and I will deliver what the fans want to see. I will become TNA World Champion. I really believe something special is happening right now, and I think I have what it takes to be the guy in TNA wrestling. As amazing as our roster is, all the people in this match are unbelievable, but I really do feel this is my time, and I think the fans feel that too," said Hendry. Now, a report from Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter echoed Hendry's sentiments, with there said to be a lot of push to crown Hendry at Slammiversary due to his regular appearances in WWE NXT and for how over Hendry has gotten as a star. TNA World Champion Moose even suggested that Hendry has the potential to be, quote, "the next John Cena." So what are your thoughts this weekend? Who do you think leaves with the TNA World title? Now, a bit of an update when it comes to WWE legend and current AEW star Paul White. Now, AEW star Paul White, formerly the Big Show in WWE, has shown progress after having major replacement surgery. In early 2022, White underwent hip and knee replacement surgery, with his return match being in November 2023 as an AEW Collision Dark match. He would then feature on the November 15 AEW Dynamite Street Fight, where he teamed with Kota Ibushi, Chris Jericho, and Kenny Omega to defeat Brian Cage and the Don Callis family's Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Powerhouse Hobbs in the Like a Dragon Street Fight. 2024 to date has only seen one match of the former Big Show, teaming with Chris Jericho and Mike Bailey to take on Lance Archer, Kyle Fletcher, and Powerhouse Hobbs on the Jericho Cruise back in January, images of which went viral considering Paul White was seemingly struggling in the ring and wearing a big knee brace. After that match, he would confirm he was going to get knee surgery, in which the joint would be, quote, partially replaced. Paul White has now provided an update on his recovery through his own Instagram account, stating the following, saying, quote, "Today was a great day, grateful. both knees, both hips replaced, no pain. Well, other than the hard work to get back into shape. That's not egg-shaped, lol, hashtag rebuild, hashtag gym, hashtag fun. The statement was accompanied by a video showing White undertaking a leg workout, which can be seen right here. Would you like to see a healthy Paul White have one final run in AEW? Well, in March of 2023, White addressed his AEW contract status, saying he had a couple of years left there in AEW and suggested that he planned to continue to wrestle as he makes good on that contract for AEW, Tony Khan, and himself. So do you think Big Show's got one final run in him? Let me know your thoughts about that one too. And finally, a bit of an update when it comes to AEW Collision on the same day as WWE SummerSlam, because Collision will not be colliding with the biggest event of the summer in WWE. The TNT schedule lists 5 p.m. Eastern start time for the August 3rd episode of Collision, with SummerSlam set to begin at 7 p.m. That week's Collision will be taped 2 days in advance at the Esports Stadium in Arlington, Texas, as part of AEW's month-long residency for Collision and Ring of Honor programming. Earlier this month, Collision fell to 306,000 viewers and a 0.08 in the 18 to 49 demographic, airing head-to-head with WWE's Money in the Bank. It was the first time Collision aired directly against a WWE PLE since the Royal Rumble back in January. Do you think this is the right move by AEW? Let me know your thoughts about that one too. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today, be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.